very curious about what you all were doing, and excited to actually be able to sit in on one today.
That is great, Dustin. I'm so glad you're with us. I mean, going all the way back, I see Aaron Deakins on the call, going all the way back to the start. We've been such close partners with the Housing Authority, and not just on the Missouri side, but on the Kansas side as well. And we've had kind of up and down track record of staying connected and having regular members from the Housing Authority. So it's great to have you with us.
That's excited to be here. Thanks.
Any others? All right, and I'm looking to see if Bill Elston from the Kansas Broadband Office is on the call. And Bill, if you are, we always reserve a segment right up front for you to provide some updates on some of the exciting things happening in your office. Are you on the call, Bill? Can't seem to find him. And in Bill's absence, Aaron, I am going to turn to you. I know you guys have worked closely with that office and have gotten a recent award. Do you have anything you might pitch in relative to updates on the Kansas broadband side? I know I've seen they just posted the public comments on the BEAD program and some other things. Anything you'd like to fill in the attendees on from the state of Kansas?
Yeah, no, that I think is one big thing, that the BEAD public comments have been posted. That period ended. The opportunity to post them. It was kind of interesting looking through them. I mean, Kansas does have a lot of low Earth orbit in its plan. So you saw some comments on that if you look through there. But a lot of fiber connections and a lot of connectivity, and it looks like there's good opportunity. So hopefully that'll be approved. They did announce the Adopt 2.0 winners, and I think that we've talked about that. Actually, maybe that has been since the last couple of meetings. I don't remember. So we've got, I don't know if Leslie's on. Leslie can probably talk more to the numbers. I think we've got 5 or 7 different partner organizations. I think they're all or most coalition members, but through the Digital Life Exchange, which is the mechanism through which we help coalition members and other direct service organizations in the community to get access to more resources. So we've got 575 devices, I think, allocated, but then there's maybe, so I'm going to turn it over to Leslie, because there's, I think, 2 or 3 other awardees that are serving this area as well. You can speak more intelligently this than I can.
Yes. So the Vernon Multipurpose Center over in KCK was awarded. And so that's exciting. They're going to be, I think, primarily serving seniors in our community. And you put me on the spot, and I can't remember who else, but and then so we're working with Latinx Education Collaborative, El Centro Workforce Partnership, Phoenix Family, and it's I guess I used up all my brain cells for the week. I will put the 5th one in the chat. So we're really excited about this and how we're going to be able to get some devices out to folks on the Kansas side of the metro.
That's great. Thanks, Leslie. And Aaron, and both of you, I'd love to get your thoughts, because Bill's been in the job for a few months now, and it would seem from outward exposure that he's got his feet on the ground and some good things are happening in Kansas. Do you feel like there's good positive momentum happening there, for the long term in the Kansas Broadband Office? And then I'm going to switch it over, because we don't have a representative from Missouri on here, but I know they've got another stakeholder update meeting scheduled here in the upcoming weeks. So just your thoughts, Aaron, on kind of how things are going at the state level, just in terms of stability and momentum, in running the broadband offices. I mean, in
Yeah,
the
I would say,
absence of the federal grants, you know, in the absence of the DEA grant funding coming from the federal level.
you know, that they're in a tough spot. I
Yeah.
think they're doing a good job with what they've got. You know, we went out and I met with Bill and Joe in Topeka last month, and they're juggling a lot of stuff. The deck's been shuffled on them, and
Yeah.
they're trying to keep up. You know, in Kansas, they lost Kimberlin. They've lost Shelley Pash, who was you know, working on partnerships in Missouri. JR has moved on into a different role in Department of Economic Development. So you know, I don't know that that those are moves that say BJ and Bill would, you know, have been super excited about, but they've got to, again, you know, kind of deal the hand that they've been dealt, or play the hand they've been dealt.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of good happening. I would say, you know, across the board, the people that, and I, you know this because you talk to and work with these same people, we've got really good people in both of our offices. I think they've really done a strong job. I think they're really motivated to work within the system to accomplish as much as they can for the states. And so we're really fortunate in that regard.
That's great.
And I will just add one quick thing, which is, you know, in the absence of the Digital Equity Act money, you know, everybody's kind of hoping that the non-deployment funds from BEAD, which is the money that would be left over after all the broadband serviceable locations, all the addresses are set to get internet service. So I think Kansas was set to get about 199 is what's left over at the moment, million, which is a ton of money. But my my intelligence, which is not confirmed anything and cannot because they don't have a crystal ball, but it doesn't sound like the non-deployment funds will actually come to fruition. Again, that could change. Nothing has been decided at all. And so everybody, fingers crossed, all the things crossed you can, that we will still get that money, because it would be way more, I think, than the state capacity dollars that were allocated previously. And so it would be an amazing thing and such a great compliment to BEAD. But I am not personally optimistic about that, but I would want nothing better than to be wrong about that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Such good insight, Leslie. And I'll tell you, for those of you on the call who maybe aren't as up to speed on some of the acronyms and the policy stuff, there's just continues, even though the federal government has been pretty clear about shutting down what had been promised under the Biden administration to be a, you know, many billions of dollars spread across the country in the name of closing the digital divide. The reality is it's been, I mean, all but canceled. It's and to Leslie's point, there's still lots of activity and lots of hope that funding will resurface. But each day, each week that goes by, there's more indication that this federal administration is not going to support, in terms of financial contributions, the work that's happening at the state and local level with respect to digital equity type work. Even just recently, the FCC has decided not to allow the so-called E-rate funding that comes under the Universal Service Fund to be able to allow libraries to use it for hotspots, which is kind of insane, because hotspot lending from the libraries is one of the main ways that a lot of low income and you know, individuals that otherwise don't have access to the internet are able to get it at home. So it continues to be, not a very strong level of support from a federal level. But I think that underscores, and the reason I like what we do in our monthly meetings here is to showcase how at a local level, number one, the work is not going to stop. The needs to connect people and to make sure we're providing services that rely on affordable and reliable internet and computers and skills, that's not going away. And we're going to continue to do the work. We have a lot of local support, and we have each other to work with and continue to make the case as to why supporting this work is so vital for regular individuals and families all the way up to businesses and organizations. So that's why we're here, and I appreciate those updates. It's a good kind of backdrop to today's topic, which is going to be about healthy aging. We have 5 amazing organizations, local organizations, that are doing some great work to provide services to older adults. And we're going to hear a short presentation from each of them and open it up to a lot of dialogue and questions. I just wanted to give a quick backdrop for those of you who have been on these calls many times, and along with Aaron and Ina and Carrie and Wendy from the library and many others. I know I see Ike Graham and many others on the call that I've seen and known and worked with. Prior to doing this work in the digital divide, I worked at Hallmark for a few years. And one of the things I got to work with is those cards that when you open them up, they play songs. And then we made recordable storybooks and all this fun technology, which at the time when we were making them were targeted to get more young people involved in Hallmark's products. And the end result was we got flooded with responses from older adults and organizations that work with older adults, to the extent that using technology in emotional products, creative products like Hallmark's, it was really opening up new worlds for older adults to feel more connected with their loved ones, particularly their younger relatives and friends and family members, at a time when, as you get older, you think you're getting more separated from those loved ones. So that experience at Hallmark is what led me ultimately to go into the nonprofit space, focused on the ways that technology can help improve people's lives. And we see it, I think, no more poignantly and no more, demonstrably than in the positive aging or the healthy aging perspective. When I left Hallmark, I spent a few years in Sarasota, Florida, Sarasota County, of course, being the oldest per capita population of county in the country. So I spent 3 years there. And when I came back to Kansas City and then joined Connecting for Good, I was also part of an organization that this day is still run by the Mid-America Regional Council called KC Communities for All Ages. And it really highlights local municipalities that earn points for all these different things that demonstrate their attentiveness and their focus on making sure that communities are responding to the needs of older adults. And so today we have 5 organizations that do various work in that space. I'm going to very quickly just name out their names, but I'm going to have each of them in turn then make a very short presentation so you'll hear from and understand the work that they're doing. In order, they're going to be Melody Elston, who is the Assistant Director of Aging and Adult Services at MARC, the Mid-America Regional Council. Welcome, Melody. Mark Logan, who I've known and worked with for many years. Great to see you, Mark. Mark's now Director of Outreach and Enrollment at PACE KC, part of Swope Health. We're going to hear from Roxanna Swaney, who's the Nutrition and Health Services Director, with the Shepherd Center, Kansas City's Shepherd Center. And then our own beloved Megan McNaughton from the Kansas City Public Library, who we've seen and heard from many times, is going to talk to us about the Tech Access Partnership program that she coordinates and the work that they do with many older adults, among others. And then finally, we'll hear from Yolanda Robinson, who works with LINC. She's their Caring Communities Coordinator, and particularly the work they do at the Palestine Senior Citizen Activity Center. So we're going to give each of them a few minutes to present some information, and allow you all to share your screens. And so, Melody, if you're okay and on board and ready to go, I'm going to turn it over to you first.
Well, thank you. I hear an echo, so hopefully that'll. Okay, there we go. Good morning. I'm Melody Elston, and can you all see the presentation okay? This is the first time I've used it. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I'm Melody Elston. I'm the Assistant Director here at MARC's Aging and Adult Services, and I'm just happy to share with you all a few of the challenges that we've endured and some things that we've heard from the community around some digital access and issues and concerns. So just a little brief introduction that MARC Aging and Adult Services is a part of the Mid-America Regional Council, which serves as the regional planning organization for the Kansas City metropolitan area and beyond. We focus on improving the quality of life for older adults and individuals with disability through advocacy, resource allocation, and the development of community programs. So the Area Agency on Aging, which within MARC, plays a critical role in supporting older adults to maintain their independence and their quality of life. The Area Agency on Aging provides various programs, including meal delivery, transportation resources, caregiver supports, health and education, all aimed at addressing the diverse needs of the aging population to help them age in place. We serve 5 counties, which is Ray, Jackson, Platte, Clay, and Class County. And so in recent years, we've recognized significant challenges that older adults face in accessing and using technology. In 2022, our Area Agency on Aging held listening sessions at community centers and several forums where we gathered insights from older adults about their needs. And beyond transportation and social isolations, the discussions primarily focused on the need for support in digital navigation, and they discussed the barriers that arise from lacking the skills to navigate technology effectively. The discussion focused on how the digital divide impacted their ability to engage with essential services and resources. So there was a discussion around how the older adults lacked access to smartphones, reliable internet, and digital literacy training, and it led to feelings of isolation and disconnection. The feedback from the community sessions highlighted these challenges, revealing that while older adults may have access to technology, they also struggle with navigation due to physical limitations, economic barriers, insufficient support from family members, and the lack of the support exacerbated this digital divide, as older adults may not receive the necessary guidance to use smartphones and other technology devices effectively. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to just highlight some of the key points that came up in the discussion. One of those things was the physical limitations. So think about how everyday phone tasks depend on tiny text, low contrast icons, the precise touch gestures that require navigation on our smartphones. For someone with age-related vision changes like macular degeneration or cataracts, that small print and those small icons can seem almost invisible. There may be missed notifications, misread menu items, or there may be a mistapping of the wrong thing, and then that'll take you all the way back to where you started. At the same time, considering arthritis and reduced dexterity in the hands make touch screens itself painful and unreliable. So tapping a small button or doing a long press or swiping fast enough can be difficult or impossible for some. Those physical limits don't just slow someone down, but they change which apps and features feel usable or even worth trying. Let's talk about the economic barriers within digital availability and technology. So although for some, they may think, okay, this is a simple thing, but money matters here more than we sometimes acknowledge. Many older adults are on fixed incomes and must prioritize basics like housing utilities and meds over new smartphones or a steady broadband connection. Even when a device is affordable, the ongoing cost of subscription fees and helpful apps medication reminders, premium telehealth features, or secure services add up, and they can be a real deterrent. So financial constraints often push people towards an older hardware model or a limited data plan or no device at all. And this can narrow their access to increasing their digital first services. Let's look at the systematic exclusions. Technology rarely waits for anyone to catch up. So I had to prepare how I was going to share this screen myself. I was like, well, we're going to have to practice this. So, and I have some, basic knowledge, but navigating in Teams, I had to figure that out before this presentation. So if technology really waits for those who consider themselves, proficient, think about how older adults have to navigate these new platforms. So new operating system updates or redesigned apps or QR code-based flows. Even common interface patterns assume a baseline familiarity, that older adults may or may not have, or just the basic common knowledge that we expect folks to have.
Melody, I'm just going to cut in. I've been doing these meetings for 10 years, and obviously at the start of this meeting, you could tell
yes.
between Google Meet and Teams and Zoom. I'm still having trouble. So it totally underscores your point. I mean, it's just a tough thing, even for people that are using it all the time.
All the time. And even meetings we have here, I have to call IT down, and they'll say, did you turn it off and turn it on? I'm like, yes. But sometimes, all those connections they can be really challenging for us. So imagine the folks who haven't been using it for, all of their lives since college or different things like that. And without clear patient onboarding of these programs, or whether it be from vendors or community programs or family, people can feel lost. So think about the new QR codes that are required to review menus or to order food at restaurants. What seems like a small step to someone familiar with smartphones can feel opaque, or a multi-step barrier to someone who's never used a scanner or doesn't recognize the icons. There was times I've gone into a restaurant and I'm like, where's the menu? And they'll point to the code. I'm like, no, I don't want a menu. So these shifts slowly push people out of everyday interactions, ordering, checking in, accessing digital records, because the pathway is no longer intuitive. And briefly talking about social isolation. So there's a human cost to these barriers, where the technology becomes the main way families coordinate, such as chat, just group chats and texts, and share their milestones like pictures on Facebook or social media, or the way the health systems communicate. Not being able to use these things can lead to real feelings of exclusion. People stop trying, or they'll opt out of events and services that feel digitally mediated in ways. So at the listening sessions, we were able to put a human face on this. I remember a lady sharing that she received a smartwatch for Christmas, and she got the smartwatch because she liked to walk. Her family thought it would be a great gift so she can track her steps, but also smartwatches now have a feature where if you fall, they can notify someone. But what does that mean if she doesn't know how to set it up or connect it to her new phone? And she barely knows how to navigate her phone. And so she shared that example, and someone said, well, did you ask your granddaughter? And she didn't have a granddaughter. Everyone doesn't have family to rely on to connect them and train them for these services. And so speaking of granddaughters, we can talk about generational gaps in technology use. Families often want to help and do. A tech-savvy grandchild will fix a problem so a device works again. But quick fixes don't usually include teaching. That means explaining how an app is organized, or why a setting matters, or what to do the next time something breaks. So that creates a cycle where older adults remain dependent without the confidence to explore or troubleshoot future concerns. This results in missed opportunities for genuine independence and for bridging the digital skills gap across generations. And so finally, we can discuss real briefly on how to address some of these things. So first, let's consider user-friendly interfaces. It's crucial to push for the development of devices and their applications that prioritize accessibilities. This includes larger text options, high contrast color schemes, simplified navigation menus that cater specifically to older adults, voice commands and assistive features. Incorporating voice recognition technologies and assistive features can enable users with low vision or dexterity issues to navigate devices more easily. For instance, a voice-activated assistant such as Siri or Google. Just recognizing the value of those things, and even speakerphone, although folks get annoyed with speakerphone, it is sometimes the best way folks can communicate if they have low hearing or if they're having a hearing device, and holding the phone to their ear is not an easy way to communicate with folks. Companies and developers should actively seek input from older adults to understand their unique challenges and their preferences when navigating these things. And then community programs like hands-on training workshops, local community organizations and libraries, senior centers can facilitate workshops that provide hands-on trainings in using smartphones, tablets, and computers to cover essential skills such as setting up devices, using apps, and accessing online services tailored to the learning pace of older adults. And then finally, continuous support resources. Providing ongoing support through hotlines, community forums, and tech help desks can give older adults access to assistance whenever they encounter challenges. Encouraging family involvement. Families should be encouraged to take an active role in helping their relatives learn how to use technology. This can include regular check-ins or teaching the basic skills and helping them set up and navigating these new platforms, new electronic things, making sure that we're not just purchasing them as gifts, but also showing them how to navigate and possibly setting it up for them once it's allowed. So those are the type of things that we can consider when we're working with older adults. And if we have any type of board membership or planning, if we're in any type of planning committee, really looking at the needs that they may be addressed through with older adults when we're planning and in the design of these things. So I appreciate this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the presentations today on the access for older adults.
Melody, thank you so much. That's a great slide deck. And by the way, we will make all of these slides available to you following this meeting as we send out in our newsletter. And I also appreciate the way you provided examples across all the different categories. For those of you who aren't aware, there is ongoing case for all ages that represent that acknowledges cities that kind of check the boxes on a lot of those categories that Melody was speaking with. So I urge you to get on that website and look at examples of maybe the community you live. You may not realize that your local municipality is actually earning accolades for different, but it also has gaps. And I think the presentation deck Melody just provided for us really gives us a good kind of community-wide checklist about our collective responsibility to meet the needs of older adults. So thank you so much, Melody. And to keep us on pace, we do have 4 more presentations. So I'm gonna urge you all to keep your questions in check unless you are comfortable using the chat feature. And please, you can either direct chat to Melody or put your questions out there and comments for all to see. But I am gonna move on now to our second speaker, Mark Logan, who just recently has switched just within the past year to working at Swope Health. So Mark, welcome, and share with us some of the things that are going on with you and your work at Swope.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Yep, great. All right, the next test is I'm going to try to share my screen. I note that the UI on Teams has the share button right next to the leave button. So if I suddenly depart, you'll know why. Can you see my screen? Awesome. Okay. So I've been with PACE KC at Swope Health for about just a little bit over 6 months. And prior to joining PACE KC, I had never heard of PACE. So I'm assuming that there'll be a lot of folks on this call who are in that same boat. So I want to use my minutes, and I'll try to be brief. just to give you guys a quick overview about PACE and PACE KC. But before I do that, I want to ask for a little interactive exercise from you. I want you to think about your own golden years, and I'm not talking for those of you who are in your 20s. I'm not talking about 40s or even 50s. I'm really talking about like you're way beyond retirement, and you know you can see your life's sunset on the horizon. Uh, where do you want to be? And I'll just ask you to type that answer in the chat. As you imagine your golden years, where is your ideal location? Let's see what, don't think about it too much, just put an answer in the chat. Kansas City from Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Beachfront home for Melody. I want to be nomadic. Leslie, I would expect that from you. Traveling on the farm. Okay, great. I noticed that none of you said, I want to be in a nursing home. That is a pretty common response. Let's see here. How do I get my I'm sharing my screen, but it's not letting me advance my slides. That's interesting. Try this. Well, let me try one more thing. I'm going to try to share again. Is there a feature in Teams that takes away control? Well, all right. So I'll just.
Hey, usually you'll. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Usually you'll have to click back on the presentation itself to get control over it again. Like
go on to that
I'm
window.
trying to do that. It's not letting me. So it's not responding to the keyboard either. So I'll tell you what. I'm just going to do it without the slide deck, and try to talk to PACE and what PACE is. So in essence, the fact that nobody wants to live in a nursing home is the reason that PACE exists. We help seniors age and stay healthy and safe in their own homes. So PACE programs trace their heritage back to the 1970s, back to the Bay Area and San Francisco, and immigrant families who wanted to provide an alternative to nursing home care to their elders. They didn't like the cultural norm of shipping our elders off to a warehouse to receive sort of impersonal care away from family, and they wanted to create something different. So they created what became the PACE program, and it is a program of all-inclusive care that is centered in the community. So when seniors come on board with PACE, they get everything that they need to stay healthy and to stay safe in their home or with family, whatever their community setting may be. Now, PACE serves a very specific group of seniors. Here in Kansas City, we serve seniors who are 55 and older, who live in Jackson County, so we're geographically bound. But most importantly, they have to be certified by the state as requiring nursing home level of care. So the typical PACE patient looks a lot like the typical nursing home patient, right? If you imagine a nursing home, the kinds of disability, chronic conditions, the needs for assistance. I think the average PACE patient has about 9 prescriptions, has around 7 chronic conditions, needs physical personal assistance to complete daily living activities like showering and bathing and things like that. But they do have the capacity to remain independent with support, and that's what we provide. So PACE is an all-inclusive model, which means it's sort of all or nothing, right? You come on board with PACE, you don't get to pick a la carte services. We provide everything, and that everything includes primary care, specialty care through our provider network, It includes a day center where people come and get socialization and activities. It includes transportation, meals, in-home assistance, 24/7 nursing on call, medications, medication management. And when I say anything, we had a patient who was bedbound a year and a half ago. Her air conditioning went out in her home. Because having an air conditioned home is essential to our safety, we went out and we bought an air conditioner and we installed it for her. So the heart of the PACE program and the thing that really makes it different is our interdisciplinary team. That's a group of 11 professionals, including both the nurse, the doctor, physical therapist, occupational therapist, dietitian, life enrichment specialist, transportation manager, all of the folks who provide care. They meet every single day and they discuss the specific individual care needs of each of our participants. And they come up with a care plan that is tailored to that participant. And anything that the IDT decides that participant needs that is covered under Medicare or Medicaid, we pay for and we provide at no extra cost to that participant. It includes things like medical supplies, prosthetics. It includes things like consumables, over-the-counter medications. It really is fully comprehensive. And the IDT is really important because not only is it a different way of doing medicine, but it actually has been studied over the last several decades, and it produces verifiable, significant improvements in health outcomes and life outcomes. So compared to comparable patients in nursing homes or on what's called the HCBS program with Medicaid, the home care benefit, PACE participants live longer, they have fewer hospitalizations, they have fewer falls, they have lower rates of depression, higher rates of life satisfaction. So it's really a remarkable program that produces meaningful health benefits to folks. And we're just really lucky to have it in Jackson County. To learn more about it, you can go to pacekc.org. And if I'll just type that here in the chat. And if you want to talk to me, I'm the director of enrollment at PACE-KC. You can use my email or call me at 816-321-3261. I'll just really quickly go over the types of folks that you might want to consider referring to us. If you have clients or patients who you think might be appropriate. Obviously, 55 and older in Jackson County, anywhere in Jackson County is fine. Generally, we look for folks who might have had recent hospitalizations or recent falls. They need assistance with daily living activities. They might have some cognitive impairment or mild or moderate dementia. They might have some balance or stability issues and need physical therapy or occupational therapy, things along those lines.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think we got someone who's unmuted. One of the things that people get a lot of benefit out of from PACE programs is essentially unlimited physical therapy and occupational therapy. Traditional insurance typically cuts you off after a few physical therapy sessions, for example. But with PACE programs, as long as you're a participant in the program and you need physical therapy or occupational therapy, you'll continue to receive it. And for this population, this sort of frail elderly population, that's incredibly important. I will also say that almost all of our participants are on Medicaid. Many of them are dual enrolled on Medicare and Medicaid. And so we serve in Missouri, the Medicaid limits are incredibly stringent, as I'm sure many of you know. So we serve an incredibly economically disadvantaged population. Many of them have been the victims of elder abuse, and the services that we provide, this sort of fully inclusive service, is essential to allowing them to be safe and healthy in the community. So
Mark,
yeah.
This is great. I'm hoping that, what you're going to find by being part of this call is, because I didn't hear you refer specifically to, the area of digital support, helping patients who maybe need help learning how to use a computer or learning how to operate a phone. And I think in this call, you're going to find opportunities for that to become part of the network or suite of services you provide. I know there's others on the call. I was just with Denise Hart yesterday from the Holmes Garden Neighborhood Association. She's looking for digital navigation support for a lot of their elderly residents down in the Holmes Garden. There's others. So, and I already see Leslie responding on the chat. There's resources you can access. I see Mary Kay Morrow from Literacy KC, others that can help make sure that, access to and awareness of an entire suite of services that falls in obviously the technology support realm is just great. So thanks for sharing.
We would welcome that. We'd welcome that kind of partnership.
Right. That's awesome. And again, if you have a question specifically for Mark, feel free to direct chat with him during the course of the rest of the call, but also look for the remaining 3 presentations. There's going to be tidbits of information that each of these speakers share that intersects with each other. And in fact, I'm curious to see what questions are going to come from each of you as speakers to some of the other speakers and opportunities to share information. And so without further ado, let me get Roxanna Swaney from Shepherd Center on to present next. And Roxanna, thanks for joining us. I know between Shepherd Center Central and North, and there's multiple branches, and so please not only introduce yourself, but provide some enlightenment about which of the centers you represent and how it fits in with the national scope of Shepherd Center as well.
Sure, absolutely. And I'll try and bring up my presentation just here in a minute, but just to address your immediate thought there, Tom, we're one of 57 Shepherd Centers across the nation. We were the original Shepherd Center. We were originated in 1972, thanks to Dr. Albert Cole, the United Methodist Church. And so we started with this non-denominational and this cross-denominational, this multi-denominational of just back in the day, it was serving meals to shut-ins, right? And it's evolved to be so much more. And then in 1974, Meals on Wheels America was established, and we brought Meals on Wheels America to the Kansas City area. So we have a lot of efforts to be proud of a legacy, right? But we have to do more than just feed people too, right? And so this notion of technology and the digital divide is real. And so I want to share with you, and I just have to click right here. Can everybody see that screen?
Not yet. It's not popping
yet.
up.
Okay, let's see here. That's interesting. Okay.
There should be a share button once you.
Okay,
hit the
let me
share.
try that.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Now I see it.
Okay, we have success. Okay, all right. Now let me see if I can. Now I don't have the option to magnify it. So just resume slideshow. Okay, let's see here. There we go.
It's plenty big. It's very easy.
Okay, all right. Let's just go with it. Let's roll with it. Okay, so I just want to also recognize that MARC and PACE KC have also been very great partners for us. And we've got to figure out how to do more together, and we do. We refer between each other, so we like that. I'm not going to read everything on each slide, so mine should be the shortest presentation of all. So there's the challenge to everybody else who remains. We've been at our game of helping keep seniors in their homes and independent and healthy and safe, for over 53 years now. And we also want this to be an organization where they have peer-led programs. So seniors are being utilized for their continued wisdom and activities long after they've retired. So you'd be quite amazed at that we have a practicing judge at 90 years old who still goes into the office every day. So it's amazing. So our mission at the highest level is to honor our elders, and we want to celebrate, empower, and serve them as best we can with wraparound services to keep them aging in the place that they call home, or aging in place, as we've heard. So with that, on this slide, I just want to point out that besides the Meals on Wheels, we have other programs. And one of the other original programs that started with the KC Shepherd Center was Adventures in Learning. And so what we do there is the peers of our elders here actually create the programs. They run it. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see Judy Haynes in her yellow capris there, and she helps organize and orchestrate programming that takes place 4 times a year for 8 weeks at a time. And we have currently we have about 50 to 60 people who attend. And then in the winter months, we do this virtually. That's the key thing here, is from a technology standpoint, we'd love to be able to offer the technology and the opportunity for more people to reach this year round, because most of our clients that are the neediest are homebound. So we want to continue to do that. You'll also see next to Judy, Larry Moore, and below that, you see one of our Meals on Wheels drivers with a former teacher and sister. And over to at the bottom right, you'll see a couple of our friends that actually help us not only participate in programs, but they actually help deliver them. So they come in, help us do service like a chair on a committee, and help project manage a lot of what we have to do. So moving on here, I want to,
Roxanna?
Wow. Yeah.
Sorry, we're not seeing your screen advance, so we didn't see the pictures that you had mentioned.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I think, and then all of a sudden I pushed the down arrow and it went to the very end. So are you still not seeing it?
Correct. We're still seeing the aging client profile page.
Okay, that's where we should be. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. So sorry about that. And I'll check before I advance on this next slide. So these next 3 slides are the most critical to my presentation. I just want to give you a sense of what we track of our clients. So we've got 1 in 5 people here in Kansas City who are 60 and older. This is the fastest growing age group at over 140,000 people. And that equates to more than the total of the children under the age of 15 living in Kansas City. So that should just show the magnitude of who's going to be using technology and the growing concern of using the technology. Our organization serves about 3,000 clients annually. 40% of our clients are homebound. Nearly half of those do not have access to internet, and 60% have a smartphone, and most of them don't know how to use it well, because I will call and I will get that I can't leave a message because the email or the voicemail hasn't been set up, or it'll be shut off because they ran out of money to pay that month's stipend, so it's just all kinds of issues that we run into. The client demographic, 65% female, 50% are BIPOC, 60% live alone, 70% are extremely low income, and more than half are renting. And of those renting, 77 of our clients currently worry about losing their housing in the next 3 months. And don't be fooled, the elderly are the largest growing homeless population. So, a lot of what we can do here is fix this with some technology, right? It doesn't solve it all, but if we can get communication going, we're going to be better. And then more than 90% of older adults will not enter nursing homes or assisted living and choose to age in the place that they currently call home. And then 90% of our clients have comorbidities. So there's a reason why we need to track them more closely, and technology might be the easiest way. Okay, I'm going to switch sides. So tell me if you see the title Digital Equity for Older Adults.
Not yet.
Oh boy. Okay. You'll get this presentation, so I'll just kind of make highlight of this and not refer to the map that's on here, that the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City is very interested in the digital divide as well. And living alone in social isolation is a special concern for older adults. So as they age, their friends, the number of friends decrease, their physical conditions, as Melody alluded to, interfere with their daily activities. And then there's late life social isolation that has been linked to poor health, depression, cognitive decline, and mortality. And that statement right there equates to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's how impactful the social isolation issue is. A majority of our clients have physical issues, and I'm not going to go over those because Melody kind of already highlighted what those were. But we also have a Federal Reserve map here for you to consider that shows the households per square mile without broadband. And you will see in the dark red, there's 500 to 2,000 people in these areas who do not have broadband. And so we've got to try and figure out what that looks like. And I'm advancing to another side called Older Adults Need More. So they need internet devices and access, one-on-one and at-home training. They need applications for and communications about benefits. And that's one thing that we try and connect them to. We can do more with regular telehealth or virtual checks. And that includes health, dental, and hearing now have online capabilities to help assess on the front end what the next step needs to be for this patient or this client. So we need to give access to them to help age in place. It would also help with efficiencies, right? Because if we don't keep track of what's going on with our aging adults, they fall through the cracks. So we've got to do that. Social connections. And I just want to point out one really strong point here with using online. Technology is only a social connection solution when there is exchange. So just having one way doesn't help that person with their social isolation. It gives them something to do, but just watching the television all day and for it being one directional is not so helpful. So we've got to figure out how to make it interactive. We've got applications and tools that are available, but we haven't connected all the dots between all our organizations and all the resources available nationwide for lifelong learning, in-home activities, and especially connecting to family and friends who might be in the sandwich generation. As a daughter is still working and taking care of mother, they may not even live here in the city. So we've got to figure out how to connect. And I think the biggest way to do that is to use trusted community partners, nonprofits, schools, churches, libraries. All of you as the coalition would be great. And while their federal government might be on pause for a lot of funding to expand broadband, they're on hiatus too for supporting Meals on Wheels and social connection programming for older adults. So we've got work to do, and there's only one way we can do that, and maybe that's together. And so there'll be a slide. I'm not going to go over this because it's too detailed, but it shows kind of our programming, kind of the wheel of life for senior. And I'll let you take a look at that and note where I say.
Roxanna, yeah, for sure, because we haven't been able to see your slides advancing, but I
Right,
just want to reiterate to all of those who are on the call that your entire slide presentation will be part of what we share out in our follow-up to this meeting.
Yeah.
So
Can I just finish up with the funding for digital inclusion? Yeah. So just on that topic, I will say that from a grant perspective, I have seen more programming and grants available for social connection funding. So if we can figure out how to work collaboratively and submit maybe grants as a team, I think that funders are looking for that kind of teamwork and maybe even a fund-a-need effort that's apart and different from our individual strategic efforts. So I want to figure out how to communicate with you guys and learn more from you and offer and share the resources that I've discovered and how to track the data. So some of the resources that I've discovered, I found a 24/7 help desk that'll help with phone, computer, and tablet. There's free AT&T bite-sized simplified online training that I want to advertise, but I also found a connection to devices, so tablets or laptops. And so that's what we're going to start with and sharing, getting them refurbished devices. And I've got volunteers who want to help educate. So we're gonna jump into that. And the setup fee might be a little harsh for, and we'll have to find some funds for that. But I found a program for those that are on Medicaid and Medicare, or qualify for some of the SNAP benefits for $14.95 a month. So it's a lot more affordable, and we have to figure out how to connect the dots for our folks. So that's all I have. I'll let you look at that and just reach out to me. Our contact information will be on the deck. Thank you.
Roxanna, just a quick comment. I love the way your presentation and content integrated what we've heard already from Melody and Mark, and yet you each have distinctive points of view, but you can see how there's mutually reinforcing points. And to your recent comment about access to resources and devices, keep in mind what Aaron Deacon and Leslie Scott and Leah Henriksen, who are on this call from KC Digital Drive, they organized the Digital Life Exchange, which serves broadly the kind of purpose you're talking about, opportunity to be more of a one-stop shop for understanding where and how to access these different resources. So I love your encapsulation and encouragement of the teamwork. And I see in the chat Jerry Buckman from the city. I don't want to let you go, Jerry, without calling out the great work that the city of Kansas City, Missouri is also doing. Keep in mind, it's only been 2 years now, but the city has funded 2 full-time positions for digital support. So that's part of that greater teamwork, Roxanna, that I know you're talking about. And certainly there's nobody better. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Good. I think it's a good opportunity for KC Digital Drive and the Digital Life Exchange to really work with these, work more, because I know you're already working with Phoenix with these older adult serving organizations. And I think there's no better organization to switch to now that underscores the spirit of just being a community-wide partner than Megan McNaughton in the Kansas City Public Library. So Megan, I'm going to turn over to you now for your presentation about the work you're doing with tech access and other aspects of the library. And then don't forget, we've got Yolanda Robinson, who's going to share with us before we're done about some of the amazing work happening at Palestine Senior Citizen Activity Center. But first, Megan, let's hear from you and tech access.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't talk too long, but I know a lot of people on the call. If we haven't met before, my name is Megan. I'm the Tech Access Partnerships Coordinator at Kansas City Public Library. Basically, what that means is that I get to go to different partner sites in the community and provide foundational technology classes and digital literacy trainings to patrons of the library, to citizens that live within the greater metro area. Our goal is to provide technology trainings to adults and seniors specifically, helping them navigate the world and successfully using the technology that they use day to day. So again, really highlighting that foundational need that Melody had mentioned, this idea that, you can have a family member send a text for you, but if you don't know how to text, you can't repeat that. So my goal is to visit these different partner sites and provide that hands-on training to patrons to help them successfully navigate whatever technology they are using. I don't have slides either. I'm trying, like Roxanna, to be pretty quick with this. So in the last year, we've had about 1,000 digital literacy interactions, so classes, appointments, drop-ins, one-on-ones. And the majority of the people that we've served are adults or seniors. It's not a tracked metric at this time, but Tech Access does specifically focus on adult and senior tech education. And when it comes to challenges, a lot of the things that have already been mentioned, I'm not going to repeat. You know, we have a lot of people with limited access to tech. With a lot of seniors, there are physical or cognitive barriers, like has been mentioned. For a lot of them, they might be in a place where they're required to use telehealth if they're homebound or if they otherwise aren't able to leave the house. And so a lot of those challenges are ones that I face in a lower capacity because I am meeting with them at partner sites. So they're able to get to Don Bosco Community Center or Palestine Senior Center, come out, have some community, and do these kinds of classes. So for me, a lot of the challenges that I face have to do with time. Not enough time in the day to answer every single individual question that somebody has. Not enough time to give the full unedited response to a question when there's a multi-step process to figuring it out. So a telehealth is a great example where if someone comes to me saying, you know, I go to St. Luke's and I have the telehealth portal, but every time I've tried to access it, I forgot the password or I didn't set it up in the time frame that was required of me. And so now I have to wait till my next appointment to have them send me the invitation again. And so if someone just comes and says, I'm having an issue with my telehealth portal, well, where do you begin with that conversation when there are a lot of pressure points, a lot of entry points where they could be having those challenges, and they might not even know about them. If they got the notification to set up the telehealth portal in their email, but they're convinced it was a text message, if they're showing you months worth of text messages and you're not seeing it, how do you navigate that situation and say, well, it looks like we're looking in the wrong place? But it's about how to structure those kinds of questions when all tech questions are very specific, very personalized to each person, but they're also multi-step processes. There's always an additional step. It's not just send a text message. It's, do you know how to click into an individual message to read the old ones? Do you know where to click to have the keyboard pull up on the screen? So time is a huge, huge component for me when it comes to technology and that training, literally having the time with people, with their devices to understand not only the layout of the device or the way it functions, but then also the actual active use of the device. So to kind of combat that, I always try to find workarounds if possible, or try to help folks see things from a different point of view. So for example, if I've had people come to me saying that their family all wants them to learn how to text and they have fat fingers and they don't want to learn how to text, or they have arthritis and they're not really interested in trying to navigate the small screen of their phone, we can talk about different accessibility settings on their device. Did you know you can press one button and do voice to text instead of having to type it all out? Or did you know that you can go into your phone's settings, find the accessibility section, and make more changes to how your phone always functions? So trying to find workarounds or easier ways to do things is one of the things I always try to highlight, because again, everyone's relationship with technology is so personal, and everyone is going to have their own challenges and their own experiences. So it's about figuring out what works with them and for them. And one thing I like to say, even if it is kind of jokingly, kind of just saying like, it is what it is. Like, this is the world that we're living in right now, unfortunately. And so if you know that the doctor's office requires this telehealth portal, you don't have to worry about trying to do X, Y, or Z. You don't have to worry about setting up a Facebook or doing anything else. You can focus one thing at a time, figure out the telehealth portal, get the sign and stuff figured out, and then move on to something else. So accepting it is what it is. This is where we are with our world relationship to technology. How can we make the most of it? And in another vein similar to that, again, I work with a lot of seniors. I teach a lot of different classes about a lot of different topics. And every single time I hear, oh, my kid could do that, my grandkid could do that, my great grandkid can do that, and I feel stupid when I'm not able to. Or it's annoying to me that they don't explain what they do or why they do it. But it's good to take that step back and say, okay, well, when you were growing up, were you given an iPad at age 6? And of course, the answer is going to be no. And so, of course, we have these different relationships with technology and these different knowledge levels because we're all in different journeys and relationships with technology. And so knowing that they aren't better because they're younger or because they're inherently smarter, but because they've spent more time practicing, we can remind the adults and seniors that we're working with that it does take practice, which is, unfortunate, but nobody comes out the womb knowing how to ride a bike either. It takes that practice, it takes that skill. And sure, some people might go on to become Olympic bikists or whatever. Certainly not me, but some people have those skills and that drive to do more, to be more online. And some people don't, and it's totally fine wherever they fall on the spectrum. But there are lots of ways to practice and incorporate technology into daily routines. Younger people do it all the time. I'm 30, I'm not that young, but I still post on my Instagram or write on my Facebook wall. And I know how to do that because I did it so much in college. Like it's second nature to me now because I've had the practice. And so framing that technology knowledge not as arcane, esoteric stuff that people just know, but framing it as this practice and saying, if you're upset about where you're at now, try writing a text message every day, or try turning your phone on and using Hey Siri to check the weather. But the more that we practice and incorporate it into our lives, the more we're able to understand that it is a tool. And in the same way that you have to learn how to use tools properly, you have to learn how to use technology properly. So,
Megan, sorry for cutting
yes,
in. You bring up such an
please.
incredible point. And, the other thing that we sometimes forget, habits sometimes take doing something for maybe a week or even 2 weeks before or more. But something simple that you can do every day to turn it into a habit. I love that. One other thing I just wanted to cut in, because you introduced the term time. And one of the issues, again, as I mentioned, Denise Hart at Holmes Garden was telling me, particularly as we're talking about older adults, many older adults maybe ones who aren't, disabled or incapable of still getting about and managing their day. Many of them are busy during the day with childcare and with other things, and they're looking for computer training support, but in the evenings or off of the regular time. And I know that's not an easy thing for the library to do, but as we socialize as a team, different ways of providing digital navigation support, I just wanted to call out the challenges of making available training or habit forming, techniques at 24 hours a day, whenever that person is available. And I think that is also a big challenge. It can't just be during normal work hours. And so hopefully we can, again, as Roxanna was saying, as we work better collaboratively together as a network, we can find ways to overcome some of those time challenges. Not just, your time challenges because you're one person, and with all the funding challenges, it'd be great to have 3 or 4 clones of Megan McNaughton, but still there's still going to be timing challenges relative to when people are available to get the learning. So I wanted to throw that out, and I am conscious of giving Yolanda some time to present, but if you had any final parts of what you wanted to present, please do so, and then we can switch over to Palestine, and then maybe have a chance for a couple of quick questions.
Happy
Sure,
Friday.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you was...
Nope, sorry. I just wanted to say that was all that I did want to talk
Okay.
about. I do want to make sure Yolanda gets to speak. I just wanted to let everyone know I put the link to the library's Tech Access page in the chat if you want to learn more about what Tech Access does. And then I put my email as well if you have questions or if you want to see the classes that I can teach. If you have any sites in mind that you're like, oh, I wonder if Megan could teach technology classes at our site. Or if you have any other questions, my email is in the chat. Go for it, Yolanda. Thanks.
Hi, Megan. No, happy Friday, everyone. I first thing I want to say is everybody should give their own selves a round of applause for the unique work and the great work that we work with seniors and community. So give yourself do some clapping, y'all. There you go. I have a video, so I'm going to try to share my screen real quick to kind of give you an idea of what we do here at LINC real quick. Let's see here. Include sound. Let's see here. Copy. Can y'all see my screen?
Not
No?
yet. No, nope.
Okay. Let's see. Original. Let's see. Palestine. Here we go. I think it's coming up. Think it's coming, guys. Thanks for bearing with me.
Love your jersey, by the way.
You probably won't like what's on the back of it because he no longer plays there, but he's still my favorite. So
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's a Red Kingdom jersey. That's all.
Exactly. Okay. Team conversation. Okay, close this out. Here we go. Let's try it again.
And Roxanna, is that your hand up? Or is that? No. Okay.
Where are you at? Okay, IT. I might have to just do my talking. I had this really cool video. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I had the video set up already, ready to go.
We can always share the link, Yolanda, if it's something that we're not able to access, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, it says open file. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Can you see that?
Nothing's coming up.
Okay. Okay.
Might be taking a while to download.
Okay. Desktop. Okay. I see it clear as day. And I thought it shared. Okay. Oh, close, open file. Let me get out of here. Okay. Share. Okay. Real quick, my name is Yolanda Robinson. I am the LINC Caring Communities Coordinator here at Palestine Senior Citizen Activity Center. I've been over here for a year. Palestine Senior Citizen Center has been around since 1992 from the founder of Palestine Baptist Church of Jesus Christ, Pastor Abel. He had a vision for this community, which is a 64128 area code, which is the most poverty and most volatile zip codes in Kansas City. He had a vision to have seniors and their being able to live in their area and live in their community safe and being able to have the same activities, the same resources as any other community we're able to have access to. So over a year, LINC, I actually work for Local Investment Commission. And again, we've been around since 1992. And we're really big on not just one group of key people, but we're a community-driven organization. A lot of you people probably know LINC as before and after school programming, which we do have 55 schools in the greater Kansas City area. We have 2 community centers now, which is Palestine and Morning Star. And so what we did was we did a great collaboration together to be able to support seniors in a great capacity because there were some challenges, and we're excited about what has been happening. The increase from last August to now, the enrollment has actually increased to 339% in enrollment due to our activities and all of our new creative and innovative things that we're doing here. All the way from we're doing line dancing, we're doing chess, we're doing dominoes, we have 3 pool tables, a ping pong, a walking trail, a fitness center. We're doing chair aerobics today. We have so many classes and workshops. I work with the Black Nurses Association. I also work with Archwell. We also work with, again, I've met a couple of times with Janet, which is with the Shepherd Center. She's done some great collaborations with us as well. Also Tiambre, which is with PACE. She attends our meetings every month. We have a senior citizen empowerment site council meeting, which is the first Tuesday of every month. And we do a phenomenal job bringing in community resources and bringing in different workshops. So that is how I actually do my assessments every year. We also get funding from SILP, which is our Senior Independent Living Program. And that's how I'm able to do assessments on the needs of our seniors is with our monthly Senior Citizen Empowerment Site Council. So we have brought in commissioners. Some of our 3rd District City Council members have helped us and supported us in so many different ways. 5th District Councilman Curls has been in here as well. It's been some great things going on. So again, we have 5 workshops pretty much a month. We do will planning, estate planning. We're working with legal aid. We're working with Rings of Care. We're working with Christmas in October. We're working with Community Action Center for home repair. And we're also working with not harvesters, but the Habitat for Humanity as well, with some of the issues seniors are living in their homes. And that's our goal here, is to do everything we can to keep them in the homes. So we're working with organizations, and actually this organization or this community is made up of Oak Park. I'm open. We do community meetings here the first Thursday of the month in the evening. I'm open to evening, even though we close at 4 o'clock. I will stay open if it's the needs of our community and our seniors. We're doing a financial literacy class for seniors. They have budgets. Some of our seniors, they still travel. They're looking to retire. I'm also working with another organization here in Kansas City, Front Porch Alliance, and we're working on it's called PALS program. It's called Partners in Active Learning. And we're getting a group of seniors together to go to Faxon Elementary School, which is about maybe 5 or 10 minutes away from here. So I'm getting the seniors to know that you are still valued, you are still special, and you bring amazing attributions to our community. And as I move forward with digital, Megan is thebomb.com. She has always been open. She is the most sweetest human being. And I thank you to the Kansas City Library to open up the opportunity to do digital classes with phones as well as digital classes with computers. We have just done our 2nd class with computers. We got 2 desktops, 10 laptops, and 10 iPads for seniors who are interested in learning about digital classes. And so every Thursday, Melissa's coming in to share information with our seniors, and they were excited this past week just to learn how to use the mouse. They got these certificates. And so I know that this is critical. This is important for our seniors to learn digital, have digital access in our communities. When I get off the phone, I'm going to have to help set up one of the seniors' phone because he can't get access to his IRS information because he needs an award letter from Social Security. So guess what? My recruitment strategy is to get him into that digital class immediately. So it's so much, but I'm looking forward to meeting. I would love to get everyone's email address. I can send you our monthly newsletter. Our monthly newsletter entails everything from our monthly activities, all the way to our meals, all the way to our workshops, and what we'll be able to come for our site council meetings. And if you're not available, at least you can do is come to our monthly site council meeting, which is going to be the first Tuesday of every month from 2 to 3. So you can get a gist of how I am working to get our seniors empowered. A lot of times they ask me what I want for them, but my goal is to ask them what they need from me. And that is giving them the empowerment to get back into their communities and come to the center. And don't be afraid to come out of their homes, because since COVID has occurred, a lot of seniors are very afraid to still walk out of their doors just to go to the grocery store. And so I'm doing Facebook, I'm doing emailing, I'm doing calling to get our seniors in here to find something that they will be able to enjoy and to be a part of, to get their mind stimulated, to keep their bodies moving and stay active. So the digital class has been a help, because with all the activities that we're doing, this is a great way for me to introduce that to our seniors, which not some, but all need to be able to have access to. But I'm looking forward to what comes from this. One more thing I'm gonna leave out. There was a digital literacy grant among older adults. We did apply for that, and I hope that we get it, because this is another opportunity for seniors to be able to get more time in to do some financial literacy as well. So that's pretty much my spiel. But again, we're doing great things, guys. And again, iron sharpens iron. So we kind of sharpen each other with resources and communication and everything like that. I think that we can do great things with our seniors, because they're still living, they're still thriving, they still need support, and that's what we're here for. So thank you guys so much.
Yolanda, we could not have had a more passionate and energetic way to conclude today's speakers than what you just did. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for your work, and all of you, Melody and Mark and Roxanna and Megan, Yolanda, thanks for joining us today. A quick reminder, in addition to all the resources, obviously, that, LINC you're doing such an amazing job partnering with all these resources. But don't forget, just down the road at the LAMP campus, our octogenarian superstar, Carol Myers, is teaching computer training classes almost every day. And she continues to just amaze. And she just provides so much support and so much comfort for older adults to learn from another person that they see as one of their own. And awesome. We've just, this hour and a half has showcased the degree to which this community really does care about healthy aging. And just please reach out to each other. I'm going to work with Wendy, and I'm going to give Wendy the final word here. But I know we're going to be sharing out a lot of this information. So I just wanted to thank the 5 of you for joining us. And Wendy, I'm going to turn back to you just for a closing word.
I think you've wrapped everything up pretty nicely. The only thing I would add is that our next meeting is right here on Teams, October 3rd. We'll be celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month. Otherwise, look for our newsletter, where we will include all of the information and resources that were shared today. It was a packed meeting and a great way to end this week. So have a good weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Go Chiefs.